A warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be looking at Koch Chemie RRW Rapid Rinseless Wash. Try saying that if you're Jonathan Ross. Rapid Rinseless Wash. This is a rinseless wash concentrate. As far as I know, this is a pure cleaning product that is an alternative contact wash method for your car that you could use if you've got water restrictions, or you just prefer using rinseless washes to normal soap detergents that you put in a bucket. Oh, there's 12 buckets there. We're gearing up to do a rapid rinseless wash comparison. In fact, we're not gearing up, it's underway, and I've learned a fair bit about these products already, but we've got more testing to do. Part of that is just using all of these products on your car. This car is pretty clean. It's cleaner than it normally is, even when I demo these to you, but it does have a little film of kind of dirt over it, so it could benefit just from a light clean, getting off some of that dust and stuff like that. And I just want to use it. So let's just have a look at this. Now, the main claim to fame with this product, it's just been released. I've been waiting for it to come over from Germany. It's now available, I believe, on the Slim's website, and Into Detailing are selling it as well. The cool thing is this product cost £12.95 for a litre. And the first thing I do with all these comparisons is go through and look at all the prices, okay? And we're going to do that in cost per wash when we do the tests. But just to give you an idea, the most expensive price per litre in that test goes beyond £42 a litre, okay? And there's lots of them in the high 30s per litre. And this one, £12.95, is the cheapest per litre. In fact, the next cheapest product is £20 per litre. So it's significantly cheaper than all the others. And I saw it, and I had to ping Slims an email to say, have you got that price right? Because it's so much cheaper than everything else, that always makes me think they may have got the price wrong. No, it's £12.95 a litre. Incredible. This is a concentrate that you run at 1:256, which seems to be that magic ratio. So if you were running 15 litres of it, you'd run 59 mil, nearly 60 mil. So I've got 5 litres of it here and 20 mil. So that will give us a 1:256 ratio approximately. Or pretty much near as damn it. So you can see there the solution goes in and you get this little kind of murky thing going on, and you just mix that up. And it all just, it's all water miscible surfactant, so it just mixes up into your bucket. Always use more than 5 litres really. I can get away with it here, but typically perhaps somewhere like 7 would be your bare minimum, but 10 litres might be a sensible amount to use for a wash, and we're going to use 2 different wash medias here. So first thing is the price, okay? Second thing, I just want to go through, as we always do, some of how they describe the product. The wash concentrate for quick and easy exterior cleaning of lightly soiled vehicles. Interesting, so they're recommending it on lightly soiled rather than heavily soiled, which I kind of agree with. Cleaning, care and preservation of exterior vehicle in just one step. Suddenly that throws a big spanner in the works. What do they mean preservation? So that tends to imply that something's being left behind, which is an issue that I've been exploring with all of these products. It's one thing I want to know. The high quality care component produces a particularly smooth finish. So if it's leaving a smooth finish, is it leaving something behind? It implies it is. Previously applied polishes and waxes are retained, so it's not degrading to existing protection. Areas of use, exterior vehicle surfaces such as paint, glass and plastics. So I can't use it for interior wipe downs, door cards and all that and stuff, according to the instructions at least. For best results, I always recommend washing a shaded area with the vehicle being cool and dry. Okay, fine. If washing in direct sunlight, wash panel by panel, drying each in between, so don't allow it to dry. Application is with a bucket. Forgive the shaking. Let me just put this, support this so you can get a better thing. Application with wash bucket, pour 256 to 1. Okay. with washboard if necessary, and apply it to a lightly soiled vehicle using a wash sponge or towel. Great. Finally, remove the dirt with a clean and dry polish and sealing towel. Oh, okay, drying towel, whatever. Application with a spray bottle. Pour into the spray bottle at 256:1. Spray it over the surface. Blah blah blah. Clean and polish it down, whatever, and then dry. So, but you could pre-spray it as well. But we're just going to contact wash. Protect it from frost or excessive heat. Okay, there's some health and safety stuff there. So that's pretty decent instructions. We're going to go through and sort of like test all of those instructions out and all that sort of stuff. But let's just go through with the camera here as well. It's nice and cool today in here. So, ooh, just getting solution on the floor. So we haven't got to worry in my garage about this product drying off. And I'm getting the same kind of experience with this product as I do with most of these waterless washes when I wipe over my car. It's all these little nooks and crannies that you're reliant on the contact to get. So it just, whenever I wash, you've heard me say before, whenever I wash with a waterless wash, the risk for me is less about marring, although that's something I still consider, and it's more about missing a bit. So it's really down to your technique. And I'm not the greatest waterless wash dude, because I always tend to miss bits. But yeah, I'm just being honest. So let's just keep going here, guys. You can get a feel for the products. You see, it's not masking whatever protection I've got over there. It's the protection. The panel is lovely and slick, so that when I clean it, it feels lovely and slick. If I'm cleaning a dirty, contaminated panel that feels rough, then no matter how good this product is, it'll feel rough when I wipe over it. So that's one thing with these. I struggle to separate them on slickness, really, but I've got some thinking to do about that. Now, I've done some testing over there on cleaning power on all these products, and I've had some great success. I've had some great success, which was one of my biggest concerns when doing this test, was that I wouldn't be able to separate them and get any meaningful data on cleaning power. But let's just go back to our panel. But I have, and I'm not going to tell you where the Koch came, because that will come in the overall best of. But what I can say is we know that the Koch is going to be off to a cracking start because of its price point. So it's like a pack of racehorses bolting out the block when you put them through a test, and we normally do the price comparison first, and the ones that come last in the price comparison at the back of the pack, and they got a tall order to catch up, which can't often be done. You might be able, it may happen one day. I don't think it's happened yet. So if you're the most expensive, you're in trouble. And if you're expensive generally and at the back of the pack, you've got to really show me some performance that I can measure in order to catch up. And that can happen. Some more expensive ones have done well in previous tests and stuff like that. So it can happen. But what I'm saying is Koch is going to be a front runner already because of price. And if you also think, this doesn't come into play when I'm doing my tests, but in terms of brand pedigree, Koch I regard quite highly. I don't know about you. I mean, why wouldn't you regard them highly? Just get all this dirt under the seal in there you want to get. I regard them really high because like a German brand, they get tough regulations on chemicals. They've been around for a long time. 75 years? They're one of the first brands to introduce car polishes. You know, they've got very good abrasives, but very good professional line of products that all come in these nice bottles here and often surprise us on price. For example, Koch Chemie Green Star. Remember, a litre of that all-purpose cleaner, it's like £5, and it's a mega concentrate as well. It's like, holy cow, that's cheap. But normally when you get a cheap chemical like that, especially cleaning products, a lot of the times they can come from brands and they might be watered down more, that's why they're cheap. They might be using nasty chemicals in there to give them cleaning power that are cheap, caustic chemicals. They can put small amounts in to give you that punch. Koch don't do that and can't do that because of German regulations. So, you know, they won't have any sodium hydroxide's the one we will talk about, isn't it? You know, they won't ever have anything like that in most of their products, as far as I know. You know, maybe there's some that do, who knows. But, you know, so Green Star was an example of an APC which was first class because it gives you all this phenomenal value. Let's just flip that over. Keep going. Keep cleaning this while you're talking. Just make sure we get all of the dirt off. Make sure we get it all. So yeah, phenomenal brand. Abrasives, market leading with abrasives for me, and then some really good surfactants as well. They've got polishing pads, they've got every genre of detailing product you could need. Yeah, so one of the few brands back in the day, many years ago, probably, what, 6-7 years ago, that I did a brand review on because I thought they were the dog's danglies, and they are. Yeah, so I think a lot of you share that sentiment. I have to take that sentiment completely away when we're doing this sort of testing and just put them through the sausage machine, like we talk about. But the Koch Chemie Rapid Rinseless Wash is off to a flyer. Now here's the thing as well, when you put a price out like that, let's just go and rinse this towel off. When you put a price out like that, it makes my eyebrow, that you can't see, it makes my invisible eyebrow raise like this. As soon as I hit that $12.95, the eyebrow went right up to the top of my head because it's so cheap, and I love that. It's always important for me, I think, for brands to be competitive on price, but that sort of price point puts the rest of the products under strain and a sort of level of scrutiny where you suddenly think, hold on, why do I want to pay 40 quid to a brand that perhaps aren't as, you know, established as Koch Chemie? Yeah, so let's just get this. You know, why? What's the value in that price point where it's up to the high 30s? You know, maybe 3 or 4 times the cost per wash, say, and 3 or 4 times the overall cost. Let's say three times the cost of the actual product, and perhaps even less pedigree than Koch as a brand. You know, they're right up there, aren't they, pedigree wise? So it's things like that that influence me as well, and it's hard not to be influenced by things like that, isn't it? But you have to just, with price, it's really clear cut. You just gather the data, present the data, and there it is, and that's it. And then there's no controversy with that. The only rebuttal I get is people in the comments tell me they don't care about price, but I don't care if you don't care about price. I have to do that as a piece of due diligence and give it to you. What you do with it is entirely up to you. But I always say, when you're looking at things like product reviews, or this is what I'm like anyway, I'm looking straight away. I've switched to the sponge. I'm looking straight away for that person that's reviewing it to go straight in on the price and give me some other market comparisons of brands that I know and stuff like that. And so I can place the product within the market. And it's the job of a review to do that. Surprisingly, it's not done that much. It's done surprisingly little for something which I think you have to do. This feels great, by the way. You know, I'm going over it with the old sponge, which, you know, historically everyone's a little bit scared of, including me. But you've just got to trust this chemical. It's got the chemical on it. The one thing with the surfactants in these waterless washes, which I don't think now is disputable, is that they encapsulate dirt perhaps better than using a contact wash shampoo, which is different type of surfactant. So as long as you're reasonably careful with them, and you're just trusting the sort of solution to do its thing. But I find, you know, as I've said before with all of these, I find you're actually okay doing this. I don't come back in and find the car covered in swirls or anything. This is a bit where I've got to be careful. Mind a little bit. I'm gonna. Let's go get some more solution, because there's sort of some borderline heavy dirt down there. In fact, we'll switch back over to this. The Chanel, a bit softer and a bit safer than the sponge for me. But whatever, I quite like the sponge. I also have to say, I'm enjoying this rinseless wash thing. I'm enjoying it. I'm starting to dig it a little bit. Even though I don't primarily do it, I'm starting to dig it. Like going over my car now, like this, low effort, low amount of equipment. Let's just get this very carefully. Sweep that off. So it can just take a little bit of time. A couple of passes if it's really dirty to get it off. So it would be a nightmare doing this over an entire car that was really neglected, no protection on it, and just embedded with dirt. You'd be much better off busting out the pressure washer and getting a stronger pre-wash on it and contact wash it with detergents, blast it all in the crevices and everything. You get better results, you just do. But you could still do it this way if it's your preference. I don't really care. So, front's done, sides are done. Let's see if I can squeeze down here. Last time I was doing this was with the Wolfgang, and I said afterwards, I'll just quickly nip down and do the back. I never did. The back was filthy. I'm a bit tight on space in this garage, but let's just get all this. I could wheel the car forward a little bit more. I can fit down here. It's the muscles that stop me getting in. These bulging muscles. And look, all I'm doing is taking off surface dirt. There were some sort of like dirt spots, almost like water spots, but dirt spots from where it'd been out in the rain on here. And you can't see it in the dark light, but they were there. And then I'll quickly go over the wheels and we'll wash this off. What have I been doing in the main test? In the main test, the dirt simulator has proven to be a really good tool once again for separating these products on their ability to break down a film of dirt that has some grease in it. So they're going to need a bit of degreasing power to get it off. That'll do. It's a bit of a bit bodged rinseless wash, but the car will look pretty good when it's done, which is cool. It's now winter, and it's raining all weekend, so I'll be taking this car out and it'll be getting dirty. In fact, I'm going to stick with this. I'm just going to mash this around here. I would get brushes out if I was trying to do this properly, but I'm just getting the surface dirt off. I've got a lovely brush. Actually, these are pretty clean. Just poke that in there. And it'll get this. Well, this is a classic example of what I'm talking about, really. So I can get this wheel reasonably clean, but I've got contact in every little area. Like go in there and poke it all out, go in there, poke it all out, go in there, poke it all out. When normally if I cover this in strong pre-wash and blast it down, it gets a lot of it off. These wheels, they've got coating in them and stuff like that. So rinseless washes, I think they hit their limits on dirty wheels. You can just about get away with a light clean on a wheel, but I could get a more suitable brush out. For example, this brush is like the king of this BBS alloy because it fits in here perfectly like that and it just pushes against it. So it's a little soft 99 brush. It's perfect for these alloys. So if I went and did this with the rinseless, I'd have a completely clean set of alloys. Now I've started, I don't want to stop. So you can get there. You can get there, but remember you've got to go back in there and towel it. See, these are quite dirty actually. You've got to go back in there and towel this out. I'm going to finish this one off. Yeah, and I think a lot of you'd say, well, you've got to blast this all off first, and then you're not going to scratch up your alloys as much, maybe. But I'm telling you, these alloys will look good in 5 years' time. What will be the deciding factor is if I curb them or not, or what happens when I get the tyres changed, because they get butchered then. So you can get your alloy 99% of the way there. Then, this is a really important thing with Rinseless. If you're going to scratch your car, it's going to be when you dry. And what I would say is these, just drying with these, is really good because they're all like bunched up and twisted. They don't stick so much as the coral fleece towels. So you're less reliant on sort of like buffing the towel over the surface. So you just take your towel. I'm going to bring you in to show you this. But you just take your towel and just take the standing water off the car. And that's it. That's all I do, because I might just do a little wipe over there as well. Anything that's left behind is going to disappear. If there's any little surfactant marks, you might just want to get a bit of pressure going, or keep going till it's clean, but don't push into the paint, because that is what will scratch it. Did that move? No, it didn't. I'll try and demo it. I'd like to demo it here on the bonnet, but you need two hands really. So just forgive this little wiggle. So plonk that down on there, and you just kind of move the towel over your paint. You can see what I mean though. There was just some little spots that are disappearing. So it can just benefit from that little wipe, but you want to be so gentle. And I am looking at these I am looking at this sort of like surfactant and water footprint that sort of vapes off. I don't want to be fighting these products, because sometimes you can find, once you've gone over a car with a rinseless wash, later on you can see little like water spot marks of dried chemical, especially if you're using them outside as well, and it's a little bit hotter. So this is an ideal condition for this product. But I also think down at 256 to 1, you're using them at quite a low ratio. So you can see there's a film of water and product, and it will just disappear as it dries and vapes out. So I'm not going to touch that again. It's just starting to go now. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah. But that's the thing, some people might like to just contact a little bit more to sort of get that film completely clear before they move on to the next section. I'd rather just go over it gently and then just let the film vape away. Yeah. So this is an important thing to show you as well, isn't it? I think people want to see that, so we're kind of all nice and wet. We just take our towel over and we just get that. There's something, it's not just water, it is that product as well. So it does leave that little hazy film. And I think the best tip is don't vigorously buff that hazy film when you're drying. Because if you do that, that's where you might see those fine love marks, especially on a black car. Just pick it all up and just be gentle with your hand and your pressure and all that sort of stuff. And your paintwork should be absolutely fine. There's an example. They were left over from before. They're not from the Koch. I noticed there was some up here as well on the door card. I think one of the disadvantages of these products, you see them there, I noticed those before, is they can soak out certain areas like here, under these seals, and then later on it can run out of those seals and you can get little footprints of product that weren't there when you were drying it. So that can be a disadvantage. When you've done a full wash outside and you get the air on it, you blast all of the water out of all of those little seals. Whereas, because I'm just doing it quickly in here, I don't want to get the air out, the air dryer, because it'll blow dust everywhere, all around the garage. So yeah, that's a little thing that I notice is a little disadvantage with the way I'm doing it. But the coolest thing is I've got no hose. I'm not having to rinse all of the surfactant off of the car. And I sort of get why some of you like these wash methods. Some guy was saying he likes to do the full pre-wash with touchless, I think it was, and then just use a rinseless as the contact wash method, because he felt it was better, you know, it gave him better lubrication than the touchless. Yeah, which is interesting, isn't it? So I need to put probably a little bit of water spot remover on some of those bits that have come down and dried. Yeah, so we're getting there. That's the sides done. Let's just dry all this area. This is the stuff that's hard to dry. Make sure that doesn't drag on the floor. I should get it in that hole. You always get the water in those crevices, and then that can run out later on. So for me, I just want it to look half decent, like I'm driving around in a clean car, which I usually am. And I don't want it to swell up my paint, and I don't want any difficulties chasing out the product, you know, trying to chase it out when I'm drying it like this. I just want to pick it up, and that's it. I want to be done. So far, this waterless wash is behaving, and it's not causing me any problems. So I'm getting there now. Let me just finish off this while I'm talking. I'll put this camera down just so I can do a better job of drying the sides while I'm chatting to you. So which one is going to be the best rinseless wash out of all of them? I don't know yet, but I've learnt a few cool things about which ones clean the most. I've learnt the results of the cleaning test were kind of strange, actually, because I didn't think I'd be able to separate these products down at their user or their manufacturer recommended ratios. I thought they'd be too close. I was wrong. I can. Some of them can clean down at their recommended usage ratio. One of them was a star. Was a star performer in that aspect, and it was really impressed me, actually. So I think I know which one has the most cleaning power. The problem I've got is, well, it's not really a major problem, but it's just how I weight the data. Because to mitigate against that problem, I've done 3 tests. One at neat, one at 5% PIR, and one at user recommended ratio, you know, manufacturer recommended ratio. You can't see the results from back there. But the reason I did the neat test, even though you're never going to use them neat, was because I thought it's going to be required to separate them and give me some information on different cleaning power, because I thought it would only work roughly up at that ratio. And it was a real success in terms of me being able to differentiate them with different results. But I had a spanner in the works with one of them that didn't do well in the neat test, but I think it's actually the best cleaner. And I was racking my brains trying to think why and doing some more film testing. And I think the product may be so concentrated that you need a bit more water in it to emulsify the... So once you've emulsified the film, you need it to then be dissolved in water. And if the surfactant level was so high, its neat concentration, the product wasn't actually able to utilise the fact it had emulsified it, because it needs to then dissolve it with the water. So I think that might be what's going on with it, but the rest of them played ball in that sense. But really, the manufacturer recommended ratio is the one we're interested in. So what I'm probably going to do is weight that particular set of results higher than the other ones. So the neat test I'll weight a lot lower. The 5% PIR I'll rate slightly higher but lower than the main one, which will get most of the marks. The reason I want to do that is because there's uncertainty around how you rank them, and it's to do with just looking at which ones you think have cleaned best, and it gets quite hard to gauge, which was one of the reasons I did this. So I need those stronger results to be able to differentiate and give me a bit more data, but I have to rely more on what I got with the manufacturer recommended ratios. Anyway, you're not going to be interested in that, or some of you might be. So, I think I finished. I probably missed a bit somewhere, and I must have missed a bit. But essentially, if we go right into my car, right in, like so that the camera focuses on the paintwork on my finger, which it doesn't like doing. Come on, it really struggles with this. There you go. You can see how clean this has got. I got a little watermark there, something like that. Not a flawless panel. You tend to only get a flawless panel using a little glaze and going over it. But I mean, you know, pretty great. You know, it's pretty clean. I need to wipe that bit off now. Get my towel. You know, where I drive the car out and it looks great. So I do like these waterless washers. I do. People, you know, I'm critical of them, but I tell you the truth. I tell you about the limitations, what I don't use them for, what I don't like about them, and that gets people that love them. Well, it upsets them, but that's fine. You can put in the comments if it upsets you. Yeah, there's a reason I think waterless washers, especially in the UK, will always be slightly niche to traditional wash methods. Is that traditional wash methods get you a squeaky clean car, get you better results on a heavily clean car, a heavily dirty car, you know, and even the product label on the Koch confirms that. You know, it's best used on the lighter cars, you know, maintenance kind of washes, things like I'm doing now, than taking, you know, trying to detail a car with a waterless wash that's sat outside for 2 or 3 years. It's got this embedded road film on it. You know, you're not going to take a waterless wash to it. I'm sure you could have a go. You're going to need to use more aggressive wash methods and bust the pressure washer out. When you get the pressure washer out as well, as I said before, it does so much of the hard work for you. The detergent floods the surface everywhere, breaks all the stuff down. You get your pressure washer in and blast all out your arches and stuff. That's second to none. That will always be the way forward for me. Yeah, but these can do a very rapid job with so few bits of equipment. You know, just literally, I could hang this towel up now, but I'll wash it. And I could just wring these out, you know, and I could use it all again. It'd be absolutely fine. Yeah, so there we go. We're looking at also over there, you can see little squares of white microfiber out. I'm just trying to see if I can measure if any of them release dirt out of the new white microfiber better. And I was cynical. I just thought it ain't going to make any difference. I'm still cynical that the test I've done is a bit arbitrary because it's harder to lock down variables with how you get the dirt onto it. So what I did was used brake dust off of the wheel, took each swab, put my finger on it, rested my finger on it and just pulled it off. And then I had a line of kind of black dirt that actually, to be fair, was pretty consistent on all of them. I just didn't think it would make much difference, but again, I was surprised there's a clear difference and I can actually rank them on which ones released the dirt better. And it didn't match up to what ones degreased better, which is interesting because the sort of surface brake dust on this isn't really greasy. So it's probably a different chemical action at play beyond degreasing. I don't know what. But another thing is, the ones that haven't cleaned well, later on, once I've recorded and got all my footage and stuff like that, which I think I'm going to do there, once these are all dried, I'll put the really dirty ones into the ones that got them spotlessly clean and repeat that and see if they clean it off. And then that just for me is a little final sanity check that test was actually really valid if it does clean them off. If it doesn't, or maybe it's dried on by then even more, but it was kind of dry film anyway. But anyway, if it does clean them, it really verifies that there is a difference there with that as well, which is, again, I find interesting. So I'm learning about rinseless washes. I'm improving a little bit with them. I'm not the rinseless wash ninja. Far from it, actually. But you see how I use it and what I do with the rinseless wash. I wouldn't now try and clean my tyres with the rinseless wash. They need a good detergent, scrub with a brush and rinse off and then dry, then dress. But I would just leave those tyres. They've got a dressing on them. They're all right for the time being. So that's how I use it. I also want to be able to use Rinseless Washers Clay Lube, which is quite important. What I'm going to do in this test is go through all of the product claims, because some of the brands are really good at telling you what you can use rinseless washers for. And perhaps one criticism of Koch there is that they've really told you can use it as a bucket wash, or you can spray it on and then contact wash it. But it's essentially, they've told you it's exterior wash for plastics and paintwork and glass. Some of the other brands have thought about it a bit more, and they say you can use this as a panel wipe. I still need to test that, because I'm not sure if these are good enough for panel wipes. Although they probably are actually. Or some form of panel cleansing. You can use them as clay lubes. Some of them you can use as a bug and grime remover, bug remover. Some of them say they soften water spots up. Some of them say you can use them to clean glass, interior wipe downs, leather wipe down with them and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is mark them within the remit of the instructions on versatility and how the brands direct you to use them, and that will come into their quality of instructions. So any brand that doesn't invest in telling me how I can use them on their labels, I'm just thinking, yeah, it has to be on the labels, will lose marks. So that comes down to, a really good product also have really good instructional information on there about how to go about using them, and that should be rewarded. So we will reward on that as well. So by the time we've done this test, guys, we'll know which rinseless washes offer you the value for money on the cost per wash. We'll definitely know which ones clean better, have more cleaning power. We'll know which ones are the most versatile and have the best user instructions. We're going to be doing a scratch marring test on a test panel, flat test panel that I've got to polish to perfection. That'll be interesting. It's fiddly paint, but get it good. So we'll have hopefully some information on which ones encapsulate the, I'm going to put like a little solution of dirt sim, maybe with some added set amount of sand in 12 different samples, and put them down on a test panel with a sponge, with a set piece of weight, not my hand, just pushing down on them, and then slide them backwards and forwards without trying not to push down on them 10 times, blow them all off, not with the air thing, and then test on scratch marring. So there we go, guys. I will end this video here, and I'll catch you later on the Forensics Detailing channel. This is available. It's good stuff. Doug.